The wind whipped across the barren coast of Roanoke Island, carrying salt and sand as the small group of settlers huddled around a fire. It was the spring of 1587, and the New World was wild, untamed, and full of dangers no one in England could imagine. Among the settlers was Eleanor Whitfield, a young woman of 19 with sharp green eyes and a mind full of curiosity. She had sailed with her father and brother, leaving behind the safety of England for the promise of a new life across the Atlantic. Yet nothing could have prepared her for the hardships of survival on this strange land. The colony was struggling, crops were slow to grow, and the forest teemed with unknown animals. Disease lurked in the humid air, and the settlers' rations were growing thin. The governor, John White, promised reinforcements from England, but the months dragged on with no sign of rescue. Eleanor sat near the fire, her fingers tracing the grain of a carved wooden pendant. It had been her mother's, a token of protection and luck. She tried to focus on the flames, but her mind wandered to the strange markings she had seen carved into the trees near the settlement. At first, they seemed like random scratches, but as the days passed, Eleanor realized they were symbols, circles and lines, repeated in patterns that suggested some kind of meaning. She showed them to her brother, Thomas, who shrugged. "Probably just the work of the local tribes," he said, though he didn't sound convinced. Eleanor couldn't shake the feeling that the marks were warnings. One evening, she decided to follow the symbols deeper into the forest. The sun was setting, casting long shadows between the towering oaks and pines. Every rustle of leaves made her heart jump. The forest was alive, and she was alone. After what felt like hours, she stumbled upon a clearing. In the center stood a stone circle, weathered and overgrown with moss. Eleanor gasped. She had never seen anything like it in the New World. The stones were arranged deliberately, almost ceremoniously, and in the center lay a small mound of earth, as if something had been buried there. A sudden sound behind her made her spin around, a low whisper carried by the wind. She froze. The symbols on the nearby trees seemed to glow faintly in the last light of the sun. "Who's there?" she called, her voice trembling. Only silence answered. Eleanor stepped closer to the mound. Her fingers brushed the dirt, and she felt a strange warmth beneath. Then she noticed tiny carved figures scattered around the circle, humans, animals, and even ships. They were primitive but detailed, as if telling a story. Her heart raced as the realization hit her. The symbols and the stones were a map of something hidden, something important. Footsteps. Behind her. She spun again, but no one was there. Yet the whispering grew louder. Words in a language she didn't understand floated on the wind, carrying a sense of warning and urgency. She glanced at the stones again. One had a symbol she recognized, the letters CRO etched faintly at the base. Croatoan, the lost colony. Eleanor ran back to the settlement to tell Thomas and the governor. They were skeptical at first. "These are the superstitions of an unfamiliar land," Governor White said. But Eleanor was persistent, showing them the carvings and the wooden figures she had collected. White's expression changed. He had heard rumors from local tribes about the vanished settlers who had disappeared without a trace years before. Eleanor's discovery might be the key to solving the greatest mystery of the New World. Together, a small group prepared to follow the trail of symbols. They moved cautiously, navigating swamps, forests, and hidden streams. Days passed and the signs grew more frequent and clear. The deeper they went, the more Eleanor sensed a presence watching them, a guarding spirit of the land, neither friend nor foe, only observer. Finally, they reached a hidden river, the water reflecting the full moon like silver. On the opposite bank lay the remnants of a small settlement, partially reclaimed by nature. The buildings were simple, made of wood and reeds, but unmistakably European in design, and inside they found signs of life. Not many, but enough: tools, clothing, and personal items carefully preserved. A journal lay open on a table. Its pages were brittle but legible. The settlers had moved inland after fearing conflict with the native tribes. They had survived by learning from the land, blending English techniques with local knowledge. Eleanor ran her fingers over the pages. One entry, dated years earlier, caught her attention. "We have learned to respect this land, and it has protected us. Croatoan is not a place, but a promise. Those who find it must honor it, or vanish as we might have." The discovery was bittersweet. The lost colony had survived, but in isolation, hidden from the world. Eleanor realized the truth. History remembered that